Blizzard continues their never-ending crusade of tinkering with the class balance, and that probably is of no consequence to those of you who are real beginners, real casuals, and all you have is one character, maybe two at max. But for people like me and for a lot of people who watch my channel, this could be of interest for us to actually pay attention to what they are doing and what does it mean for our numerous alts. So if you're interested, please give this video a like, because this is not the type of content that I normally produce. I normally stick to casual guides, but this is very interesting, and maybe it makes sense for me to periodically weave in these kind of videos into my lineup of the videos that I offer you, my friends. This is the only way for me to know that you're interested. So give me a like and express your comments down below, please, as always. So let's take a look. Obviously, what I am kind of drawing from this, so this is the latest of what's available right now at the moment of publishing of this video. These are adjustments to the classes for February the 7th. I'm obviously starting by looking, and mainly my attention is on tanks, but on other classes as well. We'll talk about that too. And before we go further in, I never ever comment on PvP, because I don't play PvP and I'm not really an expert in PvP. So please, I apologize in advance. This is only PvE content we're talking. So, first of all, they are buffing Death Knights. Blood Death Knights specifically. I'm less so interested in Frost in this particular case as a DPS spec that they're listing, but I have told you that I've been underwhelmed by how Blood Death Knight plays. I have not played it in end game of Dragonflight just yet, but I played it plentifully before, and I tried leveling it as well, and I kind of sampled different classes. As you know, that's how I play. And Blood Death Knight was firmly at the very bottom of my choices, of my lists that I produced for you as well, in case you haven't seen my recommendations for the best tanks, the worst tanks, whatever, from the casual perspective. So they are addressing this by the look of it. They're sensing the same thing that I did, and they are buffing certain abilities. Well, obviously, how else can they buff a class? By giving us a bit more damage. By us, I mean tanks who are potentially playing Blood Death Knights. That's generally, I suppose, good to see. I am generally all for buffs, but I am just against some unreasonable nerfs that we will get to very, very shortly. They are also, very interestingly, buffing Guardian Druids. I know that they have changed the talent design a tiny bit, and I'm not pretending to make this into the all-inclusive kind of guide that goes through the whole list of changes, like extensive, but the highlight is that they are rather massively buffing Iron Fur. They are buffing quite a lot of things. Ursok's Fury is now granting Absorb Shield. You can look through these details yourselves. And they are saying, even they're kind of clarifying for us, that they're keeping an eye on variances of survivability in different tank specializations. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, what does it tell us? Well, I simply haven't been playing Guardian lately because I find it boring compared to other classes, but that's neither here or there. That's not about the potency of the class, and maybe you are getting the most of the kick out of Guardian Druid. Good for you if you are. But they definitely sense lack of survivability. Now take a look at this footage that I'm overlaying here right now. This is me leveling one of my healers. It is me leveling one of my healers. It's my Holy Paladin. It's a leveling process. Of course, it's not endgame, yada, yada, yada. Please spare me these pointing out these obvious things that I know. But what you can see here, first of all, you'll have to take my word for it that I tank and I heal all the time right now. That's how I level. So I see a lot of different players and a lot of different tanking and healing classes in action. So on this Holy Paladin, I healed quite a few different classes, and this particular Druid wasn't playing badly. I've inspected this Druid, I took a look at the Druid's gear for this leveling kind of bracket, yeah, and how they played, and I can't particularly fault them in anything. They were using Iron Fern cooldown. It's not like they were missing some key abilities, but you can see, and I'm trying to cut here a few samples of this run of Alderman Legacy of Tyr dungeon, specifically where I met this Druid, and you can see just how constantly how very spongy and very squishy this Druid feels from the eye of a healer. If you're a tank and one of those people who kind of tongue-in-cheek, one of those humorous videos that I posted recently, just charge ahead and not pay attention to anything else, of course you wouldn't notice that the healer is going all grey behind you, trying to keep you alive. But this honestly was the first and only tank recently, on my recent memory, that I've really struggled to upkeep, to basically make sure that they don't die. So perhaps this, coming back to this I actually agree with Blizzard here. I do think that they need to buff their survivability druids by a bit. They are definitely a bit subpar in my opinion, and this is exactly where I welcome your input, especially if you are a lot further into the end game, healing and tanking as a druid perhaps. So share your experience in the comments down below. Is this buff justified? Is this required? Is this not? Are they overreacting? Of course, here while we talk about the buffs, and these are the main buffs that are coming for tanks on February the 7th or around this time, I have to say that these are the winners. So Death Knights, Blood Death Knights and Guardian Druids are going to be, you would feel that they are winning in this particular iteration of the changes, of this constant tinkering that Blizzard does. But I don't want to call them losers, but basically who is suffering from what appears to be constant amount of this tinkering and nerfs and buffs at the same time are the Protection Warriors, and Protection Warriors became really a newly found love for me. I have always been mostly a Protection Paladin or even a Guardian Druid, yeah, but lately I find myself tanking on Protection Warrior the most, and funnily enough, Brewmaster Monk also the second, that's my second choice. These are fun classes for me to tank with, and they are very, very good at mitigating damage. I really, really am a big fan. If you haven't seen, by the way, shameless plug, if you haven't seen my very recent Brewmaster Monk guide for beginners, please take a look. It's on my channel. It's just been published. It's fresh for your consumption. But here we can see that at the end, this post was on January 24th, so that's not a very long time ago. They're continuing to slicing off the, like if I may say so, of the survivability of Protection Warrior, kind of boiling the frog very slowly, and that I mean by nerfing progressively. A little nerf, a little nerf, a little nerf, a little cut, a little slice. So in this case we can see that they are allowing certain talents increase the block value a little bit less than it was. Brutal Vitality is now causing 10% of the damage to add to Ignore Pain. Obviously a very, very popular talent, and so they're reducing survivability, yeah, of the tanks, and I'm not of warriors, and I'm not a fan of it. I would, like I said to you at the beginning, I like when there are winners. I wish all the best to Guardian Druids. I wish all the best to Blood Death Knights and other classes. But in this particular case, I'm not a big fan when they're nerfing. I'm a big fan when they're buffing. Yeah, and that is kind of my opinion, and I welcome your opinion on this. While we're on this, let's very briefly touch on some other things. It's funny that they are starting to sense that Evokers are dominating charts in the healing charts, and of course this is a tiny nerf, 5%. Come on, that's a really splitting hairs here, and that probably only matters in the highest performing hands, kind of somewhere in the Mythic Plus and Heroic raid progression. I don't even know how many guilds and how many people actually bother doing this these days, but they are a little bit taking a slice, kind of similar to what they're doing to Protection Warriors, they're doing to Evokers. Don't think I'm not noticing this, Blizzard. This is annoying, but they are doing this. Funnily enough, they are increasing the damage again by a tiny bit for Hunters. Okay, fair enough, good luck Hunters, you need it. And a variety of different things. I'm not going to talk here about the potential rework and potential buffs to the Retribution Paladin that they're sort of talking about for patch 10.0.7. So we are not going to include this. If it's profound and big, and especially if you are interested in this kind of content of hearing my opinions on this, other than just producing occasional guides for you, please let me know in the comments down below, because I'm not a mind reader, and I would be more than happy to check in again and talk to you about what I think there. But here we're talking about my bread and butter, my comfort zone of Protection Paladin. So they are increasing, funnily enough, Avenger's shield damage by 10%. Okay, 10% is not going to kind of kill any class or particularly make them feel super overpowered suddenly, but a buff is a buff. A buff is a buff. And it's a very interesting that Blessed Hammer of the Righteous Crusader strike damage increased by 30%. It feels like massive increase, don't you think? Like crazy for Blessed Hammer. Like Crusader Strike, okay, how many of us use Crusader Strike in the general rotation as a protection paladin? We don't, let's be honest. But these are massive buffs, not to survivability, but to damage output. So I am very interested to hear your opinions, but it looks like Blizzard kinda obviously has access to a lot more detailed data than, I don't know, Warcraft logs give us. But at the same time, they are evidently sensing that protection paladins are on the lower end of the damage output. Very, very, very interesting. And then there are some other buffs here for Shaman, and you know I love Shaman as a very lazy healer. There is also a guide on my channel in case this is one of the first unlikely videos from me that you see, but if you are interested in basic Shaman healing guide, there is one available to you. So they are basically buffing Shamans by a little bit. 10% is a little bit, 5% in my opinion is negligible, and anything that is 20% and more is very, very substantial. It's curious to see that they are generally buffing warlocks around like across the board. That is very interesting and very good. It's a good thing, because it's interesting that when I was talking to you about who I would recruit into my Mythic Plus groups as a healer or as a tank, yeah, who would I give a preference to, with all other eye level and other kind of stuff being equal, if people are applying for my groups. And warlocks were high on that list as far as DPS is concerned, because warlocks have utility, warlocks can get you up with a soul stone, with a battle res basically, and I am right now playing warlock, actually, spoiler alert for funsies, and I am really, really enjoying warlock DPS right now as a demonology warlock. And here they are buffing quite a bit, obviously not every spec, like Inquisitor Gaze is being buffed, some other kind of things. Destruction is being buffed partly, at least some of the abilities. But they are buffing Demonology, like I said. They are buffing Vilefiend because not enough of us are taking Vilefiend. I haven't seen that many Warlocks playing with the Vilefiend. I don't. And Wild Imp that gets summoned automatically as you do damage. Damage is increased also by, you know, from 15% onwards. I'd say it's nothing to sneeze at. This will probably feel. We actually will feel this. And developers are saying to us here that they feel that both Destruction and Demonology could use some improvements to the overall DPS in single target situations. And I can attest to this, because even from my relatively limited recent experimentation with the Warlock, with leveling of a Warlock, I can tell you that I absolutely smash even much higher item level players on DPS charts in AoE. I absolutely smash it out of the ballpark, right? And I'm not even a very good Warlock player. But single target is where they catch up to me. They don't necessarily completely dwarf me compared to them, like let's say arcane mages or someone like that, yeah? But this is where they become competitive. This is where Warlock's domination kind of stops to that extent. But it's interesting that they're trying to give us, I guess, a little bit more tools for single target. That's not too bad. And that's all I wanted to talk to you about today. This is a very quick video and a very quick also balance changes from Blizzard. Well, I guess not that quick when we start scrolling all the way back to the top. Look, some of it is good to see. I'm still a little salty about the fact that they're continuing to slice off my Protection Warrior's survivability. I hate that, because at the moment I'm enjoying the class, and I think when a lot of us are enjoying the class, just leave us alone. Unless we are completely dominating and others just suck. Okay, but that's not the situation anymore. Maybe it was at the very launch of Dragonflight, but not right now. So just continue doing this, continue bringing the other lacking tanking classes up. That's fine, that's great. I'm feeling very, very good for the winners of this round of the Blood Death Knights and Guardian Druids. Does it make me want to play Blood Death Knight, just these buffs of some abilities? Actually it doesn't, because nothing has changed to the play style and how Blood Death Knights will feel to me personally. They will still be slow coach class. Guardian Druids, maybe. That's a massive buff, and I always loved Guardian Druids. I'm just a bit bored of them. So once again, I'm wrapping up. Please let me know in the comments down below if you are following these news kind of stuff. I'm very, very interested if you are actually following balance changes at all, especially as a casual rather than a lurking expert. And also if you found this helpful. If you did, give the video a like as always. YouTube algorithm is a very simple thing, and it will show the video to more people if more people like it. So this is your your way to say quick thanks to your friend Gyro, and come see me again, subscribe for more videos, more guides are coming. These days I had some time to play a lot more, that's why there are more videos coming, but usually we are never dropping below the rate of 1 video per week. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll be speaking with you again about something else, World of Warcraft related, very soon, no doubt. Bye for now.